There's a lot of scary stuff going on out there right now, especially in LA, but I want you to know we might not be able to fix your challenges or any of your problems, but you're here as part of our community. You're part of the Classified Captures team. We do listen to your comments and we do see what you write. And we thank you very, very much from the bottom of our hearts, and you are loved, especially by me. And thanks for correcting me sometimes too. I need it. So anyway, please, stay safe out there. Now, let's switch gears because today's episode is absolutely wild. We have back-to-back footage of cryptids, UFOs, and other strange otherworldly beings. Ready for this? Well, let's dive right in. Alright, so this video was sent to us by a follower, and yeah, it's a weird one. It was recorded by a young man who lives deep in the Kentucky Rich Forest. According to him, he started filming his day because he'd been dealing with some strange stuff lately. He hesitated to share, but when he did, he claimed there were Bigfoot-type creatures creeping around his property. He assumed he was imagining it and that perhaps something was wrong with him. That was until the fateful morning when he recorded this on his way out. And yeah, the quality's not amazing, but if you can get past that and critically watch the clip, you'll see it. Now, look at the size of whatever that is. The distance checks out, and this thing is just huge. It doesn't move like a person in a costume. It moves like a giant, curious two-legged animal, almost like some kind of massive ape. This led him to conclude it was a Bigfoot, but he still needed the opinions of others driving him to post online.
Are you joking right now?
Looking at the clip, I can understand why he believes this is Bigfoot. Some in my team have already stated that this is the real deal, but my interns believe it's most likely a man in a costume. I've looked at the clip a number of times and wished it were clearer, but with what you can see, what do you think is the most likely thing that we're dealing with here?
Are you joking right now?
While you think about that, take a good look at this clip that was uploaded by a mom. According to her, she was reviewing footage from her baby's nanny cam because of a feeling she just couldn't shake off. A few seconds in, and she understands why she had been so uneasy. In the clip, she notices that her baby accidentally pulls the sheet over his face. He struggled with it for a while because he was suffocating and just couldn't take it off. A few seconds in, an unknown and unseen force yanks the blanket off the baby's face. This potentially saves the baby's life, and his mother Carla is grateful. But grateful as she may be, she wanted answers. What was this being that rescued her baby, and why? This is what moved her to upload the clip online. Personally, I feel that it might be a guardian angel, but that's just my opinion. What do you guys also think?
Look at some tape of some other members of the Sasquatch family, and you can tell us what we're looking at.
If you thought there was only one Bigfoot, you wouldn't be the only one. At a point, I believed there was only one individual, but according to these guys, there are many species and potentially multiple factions within the Bigfoot fraternity.
So this is Kubota. He's an elder. And the evidence to substantiate this footage is real is absolutely incredible. Because the eye spacing is non-human. And when you look at this, if it's non-human eye spacing, you clearly can see nasal moving.
There's his face.
Yeah,
right in
I mean,
there.
it's clearly the blinking eyes, the wet eyes.
According to the one responsible for documenting the clip you're seeing, the Bigfoot showing up on your screen currently is an elder named Kubota. He allegedly has a wider space between his eyes than you would see with a human. He's a dominant male in his tribe. Next, we got this one called Jake, who looks slightly different but is also an elder. The one filming states that he was friends with this particular Sasquatch until he stopped hearing from him some years ago.
I haven't seen him in many years, which has been very upsetting to me.
Think he died?
No, I think he was a dominant young male and he's gone off. There he is. This is another video joke.
He even captured a female as well, whom he named Jane. He claims that his colleague had success with this female. By success, he meant they've established communication and built trust. I know this isn't the typical Sasquatch video we share, and I must say I'm interested in visiting this guy. He adds that he can let anyone who is interested in meeting these Sasquatches do so. Those are big words no one has been able to defend in this community. My team and I are considering finding him and having him take us to these Sasquatches, but we gotta research him first. If any of you are familiar with him or his content, can you let us know? If this is something you'd want to see as well, just let us know in the comments section so I can start planning toward it. I would just use my rent if it works out. Well, who knows, the Bigfoots might let me stay with them. In our last episode, we showed you a clip of a family with strange feet, a condition we suspected might have been caused by inbreeding, but this next story, there's no guessing needed. Meet the Whitakers, a real family living in rural West Virginia, officially recognized as America's most inbred family. Their story came to light through a documentary by MacLeod, who visited them in a small isolated town called Odd. Isn't that the most apt name you ever heard for a family like that to live in? What he captured was unlike anything most people have ever seen. Several members of the Whitaker family show severe physical and mental impairments. Some can't speak and instead communicate through grunts or gestures. Others appear visibly disoriented or unable to answer even the simplest questions.
You guys like potato chips? You guys like potato chips?
Their home is crumbling, and they live in extreme poverty. No running water, no structured medical care, and very limited contact with the outside world. These conditions aren't just the result of genetics. They're a tragic mix of deep-rooted poverty, isolation, and generational neglect. Some viewers have turned their story into a spectacle, but behind the viral views is a family living in unimaginable hardship. And it's a sobering reminder of the communities we often forget still exist right here in America, the world as a whole. I know they did lose their home, and there's a GoFundMe currently ongoing for them, and if you can, please do help. I'm a firm believer in avoiding people or situations you're not familiar with. This is most definitely the case when you're exploring unfamiliar areas or meeting unfamiliar individuals in familiar areas. But what do you do when you encounter something like what's been flashing on your screen? At first glance, it looks human, but the more you look, the more you realize that it's not exactly human. There's something wrong and unnatural about the capture. At some point, I was sure it was a shadow person until viewers from the region where this clip was uploaded started calling the figure a tokoloshi, a small goblin-like creature from Zulu and Xhosa folklore in southern Africa. Known for its hairy appearance and eerie ability to turn invisible, the tokoloshi is said to crawl into homes at night, terrorizing or even harming sleeping victims. Some stories claim it's summoned through dark rituals, often to carry out revenge or torment. In fact, in many rural areas, people raise their beds on bricks just to avoid being attacked by one in their sleep. Whether you believe it or not, one thing's for sure, the figure in this footage gives off that same unsettling energy. Too human to ignore, but just enough to fear. But I can't just call it a tokoloshi because of all the wrong vibes it's sending out. Maybe one of you has a better explanation or opinion, so what do you think we're dealing with here? What comes to mind when you see structures like this? If you said hunters or indigenous tribes, you wouldn't be wrong, but since it's a paranormal clip, I'll let you try again. Yes, Did I hear Bigfoot shelter? If that's what you said, then at least you and 99% of the community believe that's the case. We've seen shelters like this in remote areas in the past and featured many of them. They're usually abandoned, but this particular one, has signs that there's still someone living there. The hikers filming the clip even mentioned that there's a fresh kill there, that whatever this belonged to is actively living and eating. As I said, many in the community stated they believed that we're dealing with a Bigfoot, whereas a few others stated they believed this was nothing more than a place for demonic or satanic rituals. But you've seen the clip, so what do you think? Have you ever seen lightning and wondered if it was a signal for something else? Say the gods were communicating amongst themselves, or even felt it was activating something on the planet? Well, want to know more because there's a clip circulating on paranormal platforms allegedly explaining this. According to the uploader, he was home one day when the weather suddenly changed. This change was accompanied by strong winds and lightning. Wanting to capture the whole thing, he brought his camera out and started filming. It was at that moment he captured what's on your screen. He told himself it wasn't normal and went on to upload it online. He felt like the storm was just a cover-up for the lightning and also suspected that the lightning actually activated something. It was not random or ordinary. Many in the community agreed with him, and I'm also tempted to do the same. But if the lightning did indeed activate something, well, what did it activate and why? Also, are we really safe at all, or is our safety nothing but an illusion? Now, when I showed this image to many of my friends in the paranormal community, they believed this was proof that we lived under a dome. They pointed to the clear shadow above the jet and said it was undeniable, solid, distinct, and too precise to be anything else. Many of them were convinced the sun was below the plane, meaning the shadow could only be thrown upward onto something, either a solid structure or a thick layer of haze acting like a dome, and honestly, it's easy to see why they thought that. At first glance, the image really does look strange. A shadow appearing in the sky feels like it goes against everything we understand about light and direction. But when you step back and examine it more closely, there is a much simpler explanation rooted in physics. During sunrise or sunset, when the sun is at a low angle, a jet flying high in the sky can catch the sunlight in such a way that its shadow is projected onto a higher layer of atmosphere like thin clouds or suspended haze. These layers can reflect or receive the shadow, creating the illusion that's being cast upward. So while the image definitely sparks curiosity and maybe even a little doubt, it's not necessarily evidence of a dome. It's more likely an unusual but perfectly natural result of how light behaves in the upper atmosphere. Mysterious? Definitely. Unexplainable? Not so much. Moving on to another mystery, we got this security cam footage that shows what looks like a full-bodied spirit exploring the backyard. Pay attention, or else you might miss it. It's translucent and barely visible, almost as though it was never meant to be seen in our plane. Many who saw the clip believed it was a ghost that had been trapped in the location where the clip was captured. Perhaps the individual met a violent death and hasn't been able to move on. The speculations are plentiful, but then there are also some who think the whole thing's been made up by someone aiming to get their 5 minutes of fame. Not sure what fame from a clip like this would do for anyone, but you guys are also free to share your opinions. At first glance, this looks like a normal image, doesn't it? Who doesn't like a colorful image of kids in the library? Now look again beyond the color. Do you see it? Yeah. There's a hooded being in the background, faint, shadowy, and just out of place enough to make your skin crawl. Some say it looks like one of the shadow people, beings that aren't just figments of imagination, but entities that drive off energy, especially fear. According to those who have had experiences with them, these figures linger quietly in the corners of our reality, waiting for moments when the veil between worlds is thin. And right now, many believe that the veil is indeed thinning. More people are starting to notice what has always been there, hidden just beyond our perception. It's not just a glitch in the photo, it's a reminder that there is far more to this world than meets the eye. The physical realm is only part of the story. So if you're seeing more of these things, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Maybe it is time to set up your projections, because sometimes when you stare into the shadows, something stares back. Speaking of darkness and shadows, what do you do when an unexpected light shines through the dark unexpectedly? Well, for some it's a sign of hope. But when you're outside your home and expecting no such thing, you start to wonder if the aliens are finally here. That's exactly what the individual who uploaded this clip was thinking when he did. He believed he'd captured a UFO moving through the skies, and many in the community agreed. He didn't, however, disclose where he captured the clip when he did it and if others saw it too. This has made a number of individuals skeptical in the community, but minus those few, almost everyone who saw this particular clip believes it's legitimate. What about you? Speaking of strange captures in the sky, take a look at this one. Do you see a small dot-like figure in the sky? Yeah, that one. The uploader of the clip swears it's a humanoid figure moving through the sky. He adds that he knows it's not logical, but it's what he saw. The footage doesn't do it justice because he started recording late, but asks us to keep an open mind while watching the clip, and we'll see what he's talking about. Do you see it? Say you're in the woods and notice a woman in your thermal scope. What would you do? Personally, I may just move somewhere else and call the police, but not this man. He packed his gear and went in the direction he saw the lady. It was when he got there and that he heard a strange voice. "I see you," she said.
Oh, hi.
This was enough to get the man to retreat. He quickly moved away from the place and shared his story online, asking if anyone had experienced such. Many in the comments of the original post told him he was lucky to have made it out alive because he'd most likely encountered a Skinwalker. He only lived because she was not interested in him and wanted to scare him off. I don't know about you, but this isn't something I'd love to hear. Either way, he did make it out, and while we may never truly know what he encountered, I must say, I'm glad he still has his life.
Oh, hi.
Coincidence? Is there really such a thing? Well, NASA seems to think so. There have been many reports of a mysterious cloud allegedly appearing in the exact same spot for over 100 years now. I don't know about you, but if something like this kept happening in my own home, say a piece of leaf always falling in the same place, I would definitely be suspicious. NASA has not said much about this phenomenon, and that silence has only fueled public curiosity. Many believe the cloud has a strange, almost too perfect shape, one that brings to mind the silhouette of a UFO. Some are convinced that it's not a natural cloud at all, but a spacecraft returning to the same location repeatedly. Others go even further, claiming NASA is keeping quiet because they're working alongside extraterrestrial beings. But while this theory has gained traction online, not everyone is sold on the idea of a UFO. There are those who point to a more grounded explanation, something known locally as the Taieri Pet. The Taieri Pet forms when strong winds, typically blowing in the northwest, are pushed upward over the rock and pillar range in New Zealand. As the air climbs and cools, the moisture within it condenses and creates a cloud formation. Under the right conditions, this same process can happen over and over, producing a cloud that appears in the same location again and again. So, is it a UFO revisiting the same site for over a century, or is it just a well-understood meteorological event shaped by nature and geography? You decide. But one thing is certain, when clouds start acting like clockwork, people start asking questions. Be aware, every act of public chaos, every riot captured on video is feeding something far more powerful than public outrage. It's feeding data. As protests erupt across U.S. cities over racial injustice, political tension, and police violence, what many fail to see is how this unrest is being repurposed to justify a growing digital surveillance state. And at the heart of this transformation is Palantir Technologies, a data analytics company with deep ties to intelligence agencies and law enforcement. Palantir doesn't build drones or deploy riot police. It builds the infrastructure to watch, predict, and control. Their software is already embedded in police departments, immigration enforcement, and national security systems. With every protest live-streamed, every face scanned in a crowd, and every digital footprint left behind, Palantir's systems grow stronger, learning, adapting, and refining their ability to profile not just criminals, but anyone deemed high risk. The more unrest there is, the more justification authorities have to deploy these tools in the name of public safety. This isn't some distant dystopia. Predictive policing is already here. Facial recognition systems are being quietly normalized. Risk scores and watch lists are no longer science fiction, they're algorithmic reality. And while these technologies are sold to the public as necessary tools to stop rioters or anarchists, they're equally capable of silencing legitimate dissent. Fear becomes the lever. Surveillance is the response. The pieces are already in place. What remains is public consent, and fear is manufacturing that at scale. Chaos is on the streets, and it's becoming the excuse for control in the cloud. The more violently we protest the system, the more we help it justify its expansion. This isn't about preventing disorder, it's about managing the future and making sure it belongs to those who write the code. Remember, when fear becomes the lever, surveillance becomes the response. So I know how y'all hate blurry clips, but I have a question. Someone sent this clip in claiming it's one of the clips that she'd always found disturbing. She wanted to believe there was Bigfoot in there, but the quality of the clip is so bad she's having a hard time deciding. She wanted to know if you guys could help out. This one wasn't for me to analyze. Since she requested your opinions, I'll let you guys do this one, and I'll be reading the comments. While you share your opinions on that, I have this clip from Europe that captures another UFO sighting. Personally, this is one of the strangest looking UFOs I've ever seen. The uploader insists it's real, but my video editor has questions. At some points in the video, the UFO fails to have consistency. According to him, it's almost as though the image of the UFO was taken and then placed in the video, and when he said that, I watched the video over and over again and couldn't get the thought out of my mind. You guys take a look as well. Do you agree? The uploader of this clip believes he's captured a ghost. When I watched the clip, however, I felt that wasn't the case. I felt this clip actually looks like it's got a ghost because of the low-quality footage. When you pay attention to the surroundings, you see the same effect. It's not because the environment is also real. No, it's simply because the clip isn't good enough. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but what do you guys think? The clip playing right now is supposed to capture the night sky, but do you see something in it? Yeah, there's an object moving in it which shouldn't be the case. We've done the necessary research to find and isolate what this might be, and despite our diligence, we found no logical reason for the existence of what we see. This has led to some in my team to believe this is nothing but Project Bluebeam at work. Take a look and let us know what you think. If there's a logical explanation we're missing, please don't hesitate to point it out. So this was sent to us by a shaken subscriber who mentioned they'd seen something similar in their home. They wanted to know if it was a skinwalker, and my team was excited about the clip. When I saw the clip, however, I didn't need Julius for this. My limited exposure to possums was enough to make me realize this was either a shaven or bald possum. Before you come at me, look again and tell me what you think. Do you see it now? Chances are this might be a sick possum that made its way into their property. The weird sight must have scared the homeowners leading to the video. While I felt proud of myself for piecing this together and getting a nod from Julius, Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, stated my desire to please Julius was blinding me. According to him, this could still be a skinwalker that failed to complete its transformation. And when he put out that argument, I felt he had a point. Which of our explanations do you think is the most likely one?
Get out! Get out. Get the hell out of my house. In Jesus' name, I pray. I rebuke it in the name of the Lord.
This next video was making the rounds online, and it's said to have been leaked from a secret facility. According to the claims, it was filmed inside a hidden cave system that connects to an underground room sealed off by a heavy metal door. And what was behind that door was something completely unexplainable. In the footage, we see a yellowish humanoid creature estimated to be about 8 to 9 feet tall. Its eyes are completely hollow. As the people holding the camera peer through the bars, the creature suddenly lunges forward, causing them all to scream and stumble back in panic. You can hear the terror in their voices, and the video cuts just as chaos erupts. So what was that thing? Some are calling it a cryptid, others believe it could be an experiment gone wrong, something bred in a lab. If that's the case, I wonder how many more of these things are out there. In the conspiracy world, one of the most widely shared claims is that Joe Biden is actually dead. It's said that he passed away sometime around 2020, and what we've been seeing at public appearances to press conferences isn't really him. Many believe it's a clone or even a robotic double covered in hyper-realistic silicone skin to look and act like the former US president. Now, as wild as that sounds, the theory doesn't seem as far-fetched to some people, because if you look closely at some of the footage, the version of Joe Biden we see now just doesn't look or act the same. His movements seem robotic and his expressions are not quite human. There's this oddness around the edges of his face, like his skin was molded over something else. People online have slowed down clips and pointed out what we believe to be malfunctions of his facial muscles or speech patterns, a blank look in the eyes, the expressions that seem hard to read, lacking natural human emotion. And while skeptics say it's just age or bad camera angles, others are convinced it's proof that we're not looking at the real Joe Biden anymore. So, is this just another wild internet rumor, or is there a clone out there wearing the face of a former president? The guy was just chilling at a park one afternoon when he noticed something odd. From the moment he arrived, there was a group of people standing apart not doing anything. At first, he thought it was nothing, maybe they were waiting for something or part of some casual gathering. But after an hour passed and none of them had moved, he started to freak out. He pulled out his phone and began filming the scene, sharing it online with the caption. So the internet exploded with theories. Many in the paranormal conspiracy communities claimed this was a clear glitch. The people were frozen in time by some sort of unseen force, but skeptics had a different take. They argued it could be a setup by a group of performers pulling off strange publicity stunts. Some even said it might be part of a guerrilla marketing campaign for a movie or a vital art piece. These days, you never really know. People will go to wild lengths for attention, or maybe, just maybe, we really are living in a simulation and someone forgot to press play.
Yeah, what's going on here? Got one guy just stood there. He's been stood there for about an hour. This other guy just stood here. This woman just stood here.
There's a guy in trees over there.
That guy just stood there. There's a guy 2 trees over there, and then this woman just stood here.
Back in the day, way before video cameras and smartphones, there were no gadgets to snap quick pictures or record strange events. All people had were artists and scribes who painted, drew, or wrote down what they saw. And that's what makes this next point so strange. All across the ancient world, we see consistent depictions of creatures from Europe to Asia, Africa to the Americas. Dragons, for example, said to be giant, winged, fire-breathing lizards. Why is it that so many of these depictions match? The wings, the long tails, the reptilian features, and even the fire. That can't just be a coincidence. Take this real incident, for example. During a recent renovation in an old cathedral in Naples, workers discovered a hidden painting buried behind a more modern one. And it showed a knight on horseback in full battle against what looks like a dragon. And this isn't the first time something like this has been turned up. Look around, from old tapestries to medieval manuscripts, dragons are everywhere. But modern societies brush them off as fantasy, calling dragons nothing more than mythical creatures from human imagination. Yet at the same time, we have undeniable scientific evidence of dinosaurs that once roamed the earth. So is it really such a stretch to consider that dragons might have been real too? Some people believe that ancient humans may have actually encountered the last of these creatures and that dragon was just the name they gave them. Others also suggest that the truth about dragons was rebranded as dinosaurs to keep us from asking too many questions. So what do you think? This next footage comes from the Appalachian Mountains. A woman was outside her cabin one morning standing on a porch when she heard a sound. It was the clear cry of a baby coming from somewhere in the woods. She was completely alone, and the nearest neighbor was miles away, so she pulled out her phone and began filming. She slowly panned a camera toward the tree line, but there was no one there. The Appalachian Mountains are famous for strange happenings like this. People hear voices, see things that aren't there, and sometimes they follow those sounds into the trees only to never come back. Locals believe the woods are alive in a way we don't understand. Some say it's spirits, others believe it's something far older. But whatever it is, it doesn't feel friendly at all. Would you have gone into the forest to find that crying baby? Mining is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Even those with the right equipment, proper gear, and safety protocols are still at serious risk. So imagine what it's like for those who have none of that, especially illegal miners. For many people, particularly in developing countries, mining is their only source of income, even if it means risking their lives every single day. One man recently shared a video showing how they go about this work, and let me tell you, it's terrifying to watch. You see them loading explosives into the rocky walls of a narrow tunnel. There's no heavy machinery and no protective gear, just bare hands. Once the explosives are in place, they light the fuse and have just a few seconds to run. If anyone miscalculates even slightly, if someone stumbles or reacts too slowly, that's it. One wrong move and the entire tunnel could collapse, or worse, they could be caught in the explosion itself. It's what people are forced to do just to make a living. The risks they take daily would be unthinkable for most of us. But for them, it's either that or nothing at all. Some people get uncomfortable at the sight of a woman breastfeeding her baby. But if you think that's something, wait until you see how flamingos feed their young, because let me tell you, it's gnarly. Flamingos produce something called crop milk, and it's not milk in the way you're thinking. It's a bright red, mucus-like substance that comes straight from the lining of the digestive tract. Both male and female flamingos produce this to feed their chicks. And when they feed them, you'll see the baby bird shoving its face into the parent's mouth, and out comes this thick blood-red fluid. As you can see, one parent has its beak embedded into the head of the other, forcing out the red liquid down the head and its beak into the baby's mouth. It looks very dangerous, but for flamingos, this is normal. So next time someone gets weird about breastfeeding, maybe show them a flamingo feeding its chick and see how they handle that. African culture is one of the most diverse and fascinating in the world, and thanks to social media, more people are finally witnessing its magic firsthand. There's one cultural performance that keeps popping up online, and it has everyone mesmerized. Take a look at this. A man drinks from a cup and then spits the liquid onto a bundle of dried palm leaves, which are arranged with a single stick standing upright in the center. Moments later, the bundle begins to move. The stick rises to stand on end, and the leaves begin to spin on their own. It looks completely mysterious. But in this next clip, if you look closely, you'll spot a pair of feet hidden under the swirling leaves. This is known as the Compo dance. It's a traditionally masked performance practiced by the Jola people in parts of Gambia and Senegal. The dancer is completely concealed in dried palm fronds, making it seem as if the leaves themselves are dancing. And it's not just spinning for show. The dancer balances on a stick, gracefully rotating without ever falling. It's a skillful, spiritual, and highly respected performance that requires years of practice. Some say it represents ancestral spirits. Others believe it's a force of unity and protection for the community. Look at this. Someone shared this video online, and it looks disturbing. You see these tiny black spots all over a person's leg, and a small crab crawling across it. It seems like the crab might have dug a hole and laid eggs inside the leg or something, but no, that's not the case at all. This person was being very clever. They have naturally hairy legs, so what they did was roll the leg hair into little clumps to make it look like black spots or bumps. Then they gently placed a harmless tiny crab on their leg just to make it look like the crab had done something. So while it looks unsettling at first, it's just a hairy leg, a crab, and a bit of creative mischief. In Japan, something strange has been washed up on the shores, these giant metallic balls. These things are huge, rusty, weathered, and completely out of place, and no one really knows what they are or where they've come from. Some speculate they could be drifting over from China. Others believe they might have a much more dangerous origin, possibly military. As more of these mysterious balls started appearing along the coast, authorities had no choice but to take them seriously. A special team was sent in to investigate and check for radiation. If these spheres were old sea mines or abandoned military equipment, they could be extremely hazardous. Some even wondered if they were relics from World War II still in the ocean after all these decades, or worse, dumped as part of some secret operation. But nothing's been officially confirmed. So we're still wondering what these giant metal orbs are doing on Japan's shores. What is this thing? In the footage, you'll see 3 strange orange-like spots clinging to a dry surface. They look like stains, but something weird happens. As the person moves their finger closer, watch as the spots move away like they're alive. The person who shared the video suggests it might be some kind of slime, but slime doesn't move on its own. So what are we looking at here? Some viewers compared it to the tubifex worm. These are creepy wriggling clusters usually found in water, but this video wasn't taken underwater. This was a dry, solid surface, so that theory does not hold up. So what are we looking at here? Some unknown organism, an insect colony, or is it just a hoax? In this curious image taken, there appears to be a creature hiding behind a tree. The upper part of the creature is visible as it peeks through a space between 2 branches of the tree. The creature appears to be very hairy, and looking at where its head is compared to the tree, the creature is huge, probably around 8 to 9 feet. The image was apparently captured from higher ground, giving us a unique bird's eye view of the tree-hugging giant. It's not your regular ape. Some are donning their tinfoil hats, convinced that it's the elusive Bigfoot making a rare appearance in suburbia. Others are more skeptical, thinking it's just a neighbor with a flair for the dramatic, possibly trying out a new costume or pulling off the world's most elaborate photobomb. I'm tempted to lean toward the skeptical bunch, but what about you? Security footage captured this bizarre situation on camera. As you can see, it's daytime and a person coming down the stairs stumbles. He didn't just stumble because he missed his step. No, a person popped out of the ground from nowhere. The scene presents itself as a peculiar moment that challenges our understanding of reality. Could it be a cleverly staged prank, with someone strategically hidden below the surface, ready to make an unexpected entrance? Or perhaps we're witnessing a momentary glitch in the Matrix? What do you think? Let us know in the comments section. Next, we have another alleged Bigfoot encounter that was shared on Reddit by a hiker in Vancouver Island. Let's take a look. She was on a route when, according to her, she spotted this creature ahead in the trees. The creature had its head poked out from some bushes, but the rest of its body was hidden. It had this grotesque look, very different from the usual description of the Bigfoot we know. According to her, she was so terrified she managed to get just this image. Just look at the face. Do you think this is indeed a Bigfoot we're looking at, or yet another cryptid altogether? If you thought that was odd looking, then I wonder what you'd make of this one. Someone found this strange looking sandy ground. There was a round patch of sand on the ground that looked like it was boiling. The person filming put bricks into it, and it went right in. What could this be? Now, I'm not saying there's a sand-dwelling creature with a penchant for building materials, but hey, stranger things have happened. It's like we've stumbled upon the lair of some ancient desert guardian ready to gobble up anything that dares to disturb its sandy slumber. As much as I love my monsters, I don't think that's what's happening here. Does any one of you know what we're dealing with here? Kindly share in the comments section. Have you ever seen a ball of fire gracefully hovering among the leaves of a towering tree? If you answered no, today's your lucky day. People in the area are fascinated by this unusual sight, calling it a light entity. It shows up unexpectedly and stays a safe distance away. Locals of the area also state that while unexpected and strange, this light entity is a frequent visitor of the vicinity. This spectacle has given rise to speculations and discussions among the locals, prompting them to delve into the possible explanations behind its manifestation. Some state it's not a supernatural entity and that there has to be a logical explanation, while the majority entertain the idea of it being a guardian spirit. Some even say it might be a deity of the town coming for regular visits. What do you think? Speaking of aliens, residents of a vicinity in Brazil saw this round metallic object on the ground in the middle of the road. This object was found after a loud explosion was heard throughout the area. The object was also burning from within. As news of this got out, people speculated that it could be an alien object from the sky. Local authorities, however, provided a different perspective, asserting that the mysterious object was a component of a machine from a nearby factory. Despite this official explanation, the factory itself has yet to confirm or deny the association with the enigmatic metallic sphere. This has left room for continued intrigue and speculation about the true nature of this unusual occurrence. Personally, I think it looks like a tinfoil wrapped around something, but what do I know? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Next, we got a rather peculiar clip that I came across recently.
This is the original elf on the shelf, brought back from Ireland nearly 100 years ago.
The person in the clip believes that what he has in his possession is a leprechaun. It was apparently brought from Ireland a century ago. Do you remember the popular holiday tradition of Elf on the Shelf? During the Christmas season, a popular tradition involves placing a small elf doll, often referred to as the elf on the shelf, in different locations around the house each day. The premise is that the elf is sent by Santa Claus to watch over children and report back to him each night on their behavior. This person has something similar, a mummified elf-like creature that they display every Christmas. The creature is quite unsettling with its dried skin and teeth. The man who brought it home claims that strange things happen whenever the creature is displayed, from flickering lights to strange noises. It feels as if someone is always watching you. The overall experience, according to him, is quite eerie and unsettling. Now let me ask this question. Is it worth having such a thing in your home? Here we have another reported Bigfoot sighting. It was allegedly taken with an infrared trail camera. The picture shows a bipedal cryptid walking with an estimated height of at least 7 feet and with noticeably thick muscles in the chest area. The capture is unusually white, which might be due to the technology used to capture the image. Naturally, the comment section of the original post was a battlefield between skeptics and believers. One commenter argues that it is cropped CGI image. Another unbeliever says that the whole thing is a hoax because someone else also claims to have the very same image. Frankly, it's hard to say which side is right, but myself and my team leans ever so slightly on the possibility of it being a hoax. What do you think? This next clip continues the mystery of people seemingly appear out of thin air. While filming a waterfall, an unexpected and bizarre event unfolded as a mysterious figure materialized on a rock within the waterfall's cascade. The apparition appeared suddenly and vanished just as swiftly. Unlike the previous footage where others thought it could be a glitch, the setting of this incident makes it more eerie, with some suggesting the possibility of a ghost, perhaps connected to someone who met their fate in that location, while others entertain the idea of a water deity making a brief appearance. Bizarre, yet interesting. In the quiet night of Spirito Santo, residents were stirred by an unusual sound, but no one dared to check it out. The next day, they found this, 2 deep dents in the ground. These imprints, marked by silverish-looking melted metal, suggest intense heat or burning at the point of impact. The melted substance had congealed, forming a solidified residue. The nature of these dents, coupled with the characteristics of the material, led locals to believe that whatever caused this anomaly descended from the sky. But what exactly could it be? Was it a meteorite, satellite debris, or an entirely different phenomena? Perhaps aliens? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Still on strange footage, someone shared this bizarre encounter they had one night. They were waiting by some trees when they came across this, strange lights moving in the sky. It wasn't the moon, nor was it some type of fireworks. The owner of the footage believes that this could be an alien. While not a popular notion, there are some who believe that aliens are light beings, and this sighting certainly fits the description. The lights moved in an unusual pattern, unlike anything commonly seen in the night sky. Once the encounter was uploaded, it naturally started a debate among members of the paranormal community. While the debates rage on, with many stating this is indeed an alien, we can't help but wonder if the clip is genuine at all. What say you? She participated in a marathon that was routed through some sacred grounds in Hawaii. She thought she was there to have fun, and truly she was, but nothing could have prepared her for what she was going to encounter. Among the bushes, she encountered a being that looked like her. It appeared to be human, but it also didn't look exactly human. It could pass for a ghost or an otherworldly entity. The sight of it would cause anyone to stop and maybe run. Somehow, she saw the being and survived it. How? Well, the answer is much simpler than you think. The area within where she ran was sacred ground that was known for such sightings. I know what you're thinking. If people know such beings roam the place, why would they allow a marathon to run through the place? What if someone was captured or killed? Well, in Hawaiian culture, sacred grounds often intersect with tales of the supernatural, like the night marches or Huaka Ipo. These ghostly processions of ancient Hawaiian warriors or chiefs are said to march through places of historical and spiritual significance, especially at night. Described as formidable figures carrying torches and weapons, they're believed to enforce respect for the sacredness of these sites. Locals understand the profound respect these spirits command and have practices to avoid their wrath, such as lying face down and remaining still. We don't see the lady do that in the clip, but perhaps if that's truly a night marcher, the being decided she probably was not aware and let it go. I know some of you are thinking this sounds like a tall tale, but there are Hawaiians in the comments section of the original post, and this is what they had to say. There are some Hawaiians who didn't believe it was a night marcher though. Take a look at these comments. When you think about it, they do make some good points based on what we know about the night marches. It really was not night, and people are known to die if they don't bow. Based on that, someone made this comment. You've seen the clip, and I've told you a little about the night marches. Based on what you know and what you can see, what do you think we're dealing with here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. So imagine this. You walk into your room and in the corner of the ceiling there's a centipede that's not exactly a garden variety. It's about the size of a snake. Naturally, this prompts a string of questions. What's the deal with this unusually large centipede? And did it accidentally stumble into the wrong room? Is it a mutant centipede, or do these things just come in plus size now? While we may not be witnessing the next great insect revolution, it does make you wonder what's going on in the insect world that we're not privy to. Aside from all the paranormal and extraterrestrial talk we have from time to time, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible spectacle that is the natural world. Nature is very beautiful, yet it can also be very terrifying. Just look at this. One moment the weather is all calm and cool, and the next minute the air becomes charged and clouds gather with a sense of purpose, after which storms and tornadoes announce their arrival with a powerful roar. And then there's the breathtaking power and majesty exhibited during the storms. Lightning dances across the sky, and thunder rumbles in the background. Terrifying, yet undeniably captivating. It's a vivid illustration of nature's might. Videos like this are a constant reminder that amidst all our paranormal ponderings and extraterrestrial escapades, the Earth itself is a marvel that deserves our admiration and respect. Over the years, a lot of footage has emerged claiming to capture alien encounters. Take a look at this one, for instance. This alien creature was spotted one night. The creature had huge dark eyes, a large head, and a thin neck. Its human-like shoulders were visible, but that was all that could be seen in the footage. The camera was also shaky, adding to the eerie and mysterious quality of the video. The owner of the footage firmly believed that this was a real-life gray alien. When you think about it, it fits the classic description of aliens, grays to be specific. They're often depicted with large heads, big dark eyes, and slender bodies. Given this was taken close to the alien, you can't help but wonder why it was so grainy and blurry. Either the aliens have something going on with their bodies affecting the cameras, or the one who uploaded this has something to hide. Maybe that's just the skeptic in me, but what do you guys think? I know some of you don't like to close the lid when you flush, but did you know doing so could help you live long? Don't believe me? Take a look at this. Now, this young lad decided to conduct an experiment to check for the presence of bacteria in the bathroom. He placed his petri dish down and timed it for 10 minutes. He repeated the experiment multiple times. First in the bathroom where there was no flush, then next in the bathroom where someone had used the WC and flushed, and finally one where the WC was cleaned and flushed. You would think the results from the cleaned and flushed bathroom would be best. It turns out there was no real difference, as they both had bacteria growing in them. Does that mean you have to go to the bathroom in a hazmat suit? Well, no. It turns out that just closing the lid before you flush fixes the problem. Yes, it's that simple. I know you're tempted to argue with me, but just close the lid and you'll be fine. You have to wonder, though, if the petri dish was not fine after the test, what about the phone? In a daring underwater escapade, a diver plunges into the depths to witness the beauty of aquatic life, only to encounter an unexpected adversary, an aggressive sea lion with a disposition that seems less than welcoming. The creature, seemingly having woken up on the wrong side of the bed, initiates a series of attacks by swimming at high speed and forcefully slamming into the diver. While these marine mammals are generally known for their playful and curious demeanor, there are several reasons why a sea lion might display aggression toward a diver. It could be due to the animal feeling territorial, protective of its young, or reacting to perceived threats. In some cases, individuals may not be fully aware of how to interact safely with marine wildlife, which can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. While we can't tell which of these is responsible for the sea lion's attack, it serves as a reminder that these animals can also be dangerous. While driving on the road, the individual recording this footage came across a man in a white button-up shirt with trousers walking ahead of his car. It seemed like he was taking off his jacket, but then this happened. Out of nowhere, this person in a red shirt appears. If you take a closer look, you'd realize that there was initially no one in sight except for the man walking. It's not readily understood how the second individual appears, and if you know anything about the internet, you know that theories would fly almost everywhere. Some believe it could be a glitch in the Matrix, whereas others believe it's all fake footage. The internet is saturated with edited footage to such an extent that distinguishing between real and fake occurrences becomes a challenging task when these events genuinely unfold. But what do you guys think? Real, glitch, or a complete hoax? Tell us in the comments section.
Alright, so I don't know what's going on. We're back in Greece, by the way, alright?
What
But
the fuck is this?
like, what is going on? I never saw this since I'm here.
Greece, land of the gods and stunning sunsets. But this footage, it's like stepping into an alternate reality where everything's been doused in a fiery orange hue. At first glance, you might think someone's gone a little overboard with the Instagram filters, but hold up. The person behind the camera insists that this is the real deal, with no filter in sight. So what in the name of Zeus could be causing this surreal scene? Some speculate that it could be a sandstorm, a natural occurrence known to envelop landscapes in a swirling cloud of dust and sand particles. The orange tint could be the result of sunlight filtering through the dusty atmosphere, painting everything in its path with a warm amber glow. But there's always room for speculation in the comments section. What do you think it is? Nature is an enigmatic force which can be both awe-inspiring and intimidating. One such instance of this duality can be seen in the footage where large rocks slide from the side of the road over the railings and then onto the road. The sheer size of the rocks and the speed at which they move are enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Despite several bystanders filming the incident, there seemed to be no way to stop or mitigate the damage caused by the rock. It's in moments like these that we're reminded of nature's raw power and the fact that we're just mere mortals in its path. In another instance, we see the asphalt on the road assume an unusual shape, almost as if it were boiling. This piques the curiosity of a passerby, and upon closer inspection, a man pries open one of these pockets to reveal a massive stone. So underneath all these pockets are stones? What phenomena is this? Let us know if you have any idea of what this could be in the comments section below. The concept of mermaids, or ningyo in Japanese, has a long and varied history in Japanese folklore and mystery. Unlike the Western portrayal of mermaids as beautiful human-fish hybrids, Japanese mermaids often have a more fantastical and mysterious appearance. In traditional Japanese folklore, there are stories of fishermen encountering mermaids at sea. These tales often describe mermaids as having a human-like upper body and a fish-like lower body. Some accounts depict them with a beautiful appearance, while others portray them as more monstrous. One notable artifact associated with Japanese mermaid lore is the Ibukjima mermaid mummy. In the late 19th century, a mummified creature purportedly to be a mermaid was displayed in Ibukjima, Japan. The creature had a monkey-like face and a fish-like lower body. This next one might make your stomach churn, so brace yourself. Now I know you were wondering what you're looking at here. This is the remains of Alyoshenka. Just in case you're wondering, the Alyoshenka, also known as the Kishtim dwarf, refers to the mysterious remains of a small humanoid creature reportedly discovered in the village of Kaolinovoy near Kishtim in Russia in 1996. The discovery gained attention due to its unusual appearance and the speculation surrounding its origin. The creature was about 10 inches, 25 centimeters tall, had a disproportionately large head, and lacked a visible navel, ears, or a mouth. Its features led some to speculate that it might be extraterrestrial in origin. However, the story is surrounded by controversy, and there are various theories about what Alyoshenka actually was. Some theories suggest that it was a deformed human fetus or a premature baby, while others argue that it could be a non-human primate. In any case, the lack of clear documentation and scientific analysis makes it challenging to determine the true nature of Alyoshenka. Now here we have another close call with an elevator. This footage was taken from the security camera in the elevator. A man and a woman were riding in an elevator going about their day when suddenly things took a terrifying turn. As the woman exits the elevator, the man remains inside using what appears to be an iron rod to prop the doors open while he retrieves his belongings. But fate has other plans in store. In a hard-stopping moment, the elevator doors begin to close with the iron rod still wedged between them and the man's foot, precariously positioned. Before anyone can react, the elevator lurches into motion, threatening to trap the man's leg in its unforgiving grasp. With lightning-fast reflexes, the man manages to free his leg from the impending danger, narrowly avoiding a potentially disastrous outcome. As the elevator grinds to a halt, he proceeds to pry the rod out, and as you can see, the metal is bent. This man was really lucky. Is Bigfoot dangerous? Well, most would probably say no, but there are still some who think the big guy is. The assumption is that the big guy loves to avoid people but is still very territorial and would protect his home. Some have shared accounts of them being attacked. Our next clip is one such account. This was recorded by a man who ventured into the woods to find the big guy. His trip met an unexpected twist when a stone was hurled toward him. The rock hit him on the head, causing him to lose consciousness. Despite this, his phone continued to record, and it captured strange, eerie sounds emanating from the forest. The sounds were like howls and growls that echoed through the woods, leading him to believe that it was Bigfoot who had attacked him. This deviates from a lot of the things that we know about the big guy. The stone attack? Really? Bigfoot? Forgive me, but sometimes things like this are just a hard pill to swallow, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. In fact, the authenticity of the clip is being questioned. Even if the clip is the real deal, some think there might be another creature responsible for the attack. What do you guys think? As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the unknown, the next perplexing footage presents us with a colossal creature washed up on the shores of a Philippine beach. Given its size, everyone who saw it thought it was a whale. That's at least until they took a closer look at the creature and realized it had no discernible aquatic features, no fins, gills, or anything that might suggest it was a fish. Some speculated that it might be a giant squid, but that's not what a squid looks like. As everyone tried to find the origins of the creature, there were also some who wondered how it died. given its size, they wondered if there was a much larger creature responsible for its death, and like its origin, no one had answers, not even us. I'll have to leave this one on a cliffhanger until we find answers, and I'll report back to you once we have the answers, if we ever do. In the course of his exploration, Luisito, the YouTuber known for delving into abandoned historic sites, found himself in Chernobyl, Ukraine. This area carries the weight of a tragic nuclear explosion during the World War, giving rise to tales of radiation-induced deformities on creatures and other eerie phenomena. In this particular footage, Luisito, unknowingly accompanied by an unexpected audience, stands by a wrecked car in the eerie woods. What transpires next is a chilling revelation. A creature, humanoid in appearance but clad in fur, emerges among the trees, lingering briefly before disappearing into the shadows. The enigmatic sighting sparks speculation among viewers, with some pondering whether this could be a Bigfoot, while others entertain the notion that it might be one of the creatures purportedly deformed by the lingering radiation in the area. Could that be the case? Stepping away from odd human behaviors, we step into the realm and world of odd and strange-looking creatures. Take a look at this one, for instance. When I saw this, my first thought was, if a dragon had a baby with an everyday lizard, I would expect something like this, but given the sizes of both creatures, that doesn't really look possible. So I spent some time doing research, aka asking Julius, and he told me that's probably the red-eyed crocodile skink. If you're like me and you didn't know what that is, it turns out that the red-eyed crocodile skink, aka Tribolonotus gracilis, is a small distinctive reptile native to the rainforests of New Guinea. They were named so because of their striking orange-red eye rings and tough armor-like scales that resemble a crocodile's. These skinks are relatively small, typically growing up to 8 to 10 inches in length. Their rugged appearance is complemented by a row of spiky scales along their back, adding to their prehistoric dragon-like look. They are mostly nocturnal and thrive in humid, shaded environments, often hiding their leaves and logs during the day to avoid predators. Despite their fearsome appearance, red-eyed crocodile skinks are generally shy and non-aggressive, often choosing to freeze or play dead when threatened. Just like me in high school when I saw my crush, but that's not what we are here for today. Their diet consists mainly of insects such as crickets and mealworms. In other words, you and I don't have to worry about getting attacked or worse, eaten. They also exhibit interesting behaviors like vocalizing when distressed and occasionally caring for their young, a rarity among reptiles. I don't know about you, but I find these ones interesting and cool. Now, this is what I imagine an alien invasion to look like, a dimly lit sky with several unusual glowing circular objects hovering above the horizon. These luminous rings emit a soft, otherworldly glow and seem to be descending or ascending mysteriously. Someone shared this image they captured, and it looks like the aliens might be making an entrance too. However, there's a catch. Something about this image screams CGI. The perfect alignment, the uniform glow, and the almost too clean appearance make it look like it was rendered with sophisticated computer graphics software. In the age of digital manipulation, it's not uncommon for people to create hoaxes or artistic representations that are mistaken for real phenomena. But let's not dismiss it too quickly. If this image is authentic, it could be groundbreaking evidence of alien crafts visiting our world. You've seen the clip as well. What do you think? The mystery deepens on the shores of Japan as a large orange metal object mysteriously appears on the beach, leaving eyewitnesses and officials perplexed. The sheer size and weight of the object spark bewilderment, as no one can fathom how it was transported there overnight. With no clear explanation for its presence, various theories have emerged, including the possibility that it might be of extraterrestrial origin. The lack of clues makes it difficult to find the origin or purpose of the object. Either way, what's your take on this colossal orange presence on the beach? A worldly artifact, a cosmic mystery, or maybe a touch of both? In an outdoor coffee haven, a passerby stumbles upon an extraordinary sight, a massive bat suspended from the ceiling, with its wings unfurled and an inky blackness defining its form. Bats come in various sizes and species, and some can indeed be quite large. Bats are fascinating mammals and play crucial roles in ecosystems, including pollination and insect control. While they're mostly nocturnal and known for roosting in caves, trees, or other sheltered areas, it's not uncommon to see them hanging from the ceilings of outdoor structures. As you can see, this bat and many others are generally harmless to humans and are not aggressive unless provoked. So when you come across a bat, just take a picture and go your merry way. Sometimes I just don't get what the thrill of making life-threatening decisions is all about. Take a look at this footage taken by a man biking on a trail in the middle of the forest all alone. As he rode through the woods with a camera on his head and just the light from his bicycle to guide him, he captured something truly eerie. He didn't notice it at the time, but when he got home and reviewed the footage, he saw it. On the side of the path among the trees was a tall, pale figure dressed in what looked like dark clothes. Only its pale head, neck, and hands were visible, and the creature was extremely tall. It seems this man had unknowingly captured an entity out there in the woods. Given the height and chilling appearance, could this be the infamous Slender Man? As long as there is light, there will always be illusions. Have you heard of Fata Morgana? It's a fascinating optical phenomenon where people perceive things in the sky, such as buildings, objects, and structures that aren't really there. Someone recently shared some intriguing footage they took of the sky. The video seems to show some sort of structure floating up in the air. While this could undoubtedly be a Fata Morgana, some people believe there's more to it. Given all the recent discussions about UFOs, some speculate that these structures could be cloaked objects rather than mere illusions. Fata Morgana occurs due to temperature inversions, where layers of warm and cold air bend light rays, creating a mirage. This phenomenon can make distant objects appear much closer and distorted, often giving the impression of a surreal and otherworldly sight. However, with increasing interest in UFO sightings and the possibility of advanced technologies, some people are open to the idea that this might not just be an optical illusion. Could these be advanced, cloaked structures hiding in plain sight? What do you think? Are these mysterious sky structures just tricks of light, or could they be something more? The moment her mother turns round, things take a terrifying twist. Her mother's gaze is vacant, her face twisted in a way that almost seems inhuman. Then, without warning, she lets out a horrifying, unnatural sound. It's nothing like her mother's voice, something much darker. Suddenly, her mother starts moving towards her, the strange noise still coming from her. Panicked, the girl sprints back upstairs and the footage cuts off. Was this a disturbing display of possession, or could it have been a case of sleepwalking?
There's literally no way that door just opened by itself.
Animals are said to be very sensitive when it comes to spiritual things. A woman noticed that her dog had been acting really strange for a while. It would sit and stare at the shed or bark loudly at it. One day, the locked shed door just flung open. Now, curious and concerned, she decided to go and take a look. The dog walked cautiously toward the shed, but then jumped back as if something had spooked it. It felt like there was something inside, but she couldn't see anything. Ever since, her dog has refused to go near the shed, and the woman herself feels uneasy about the whole situation, prompting her to avoid the shed as well. What do you think the dog sensed? This footage was recorded somewhere in the Czech Republic. The man who captured it said that the sounds were unlike anything he'd ever heard from the known creatures that roam the area. He mentioned encountering a creature that resembled a Skinwalker-type cryptid. He believes it might be what Europeans call a hezkel. According to local folklore, a hezkel is some type of cryptid demon that runs through the forest and hills. Now, we haven't had a lot of clips on this creature, but perhaps in our next episode we might do a deep dive. This creature seems to share the same vocal characteristics as a skinwalker. The man states that they were more like screams that were almost human, but with a distinctive howl to them. Listening to them, what do you think you're hearing? Now, we all know about the endless debates on whether we have made contact with extraterrestrial beings or not. Well, there's a man by the name of Dr. Gary Nolan, a Stanford professor, who shared a rather strange situation he found himself in during an interview with Tucker Carlson.
And all of a sudden, one day, the CIA shows up at your office?
At first, I thought it was a joke. I really thought that somebody was about to put me on candid camera and make a joke of it. But as they started showing me the data, and they were deadly serious, I tried to lure them into making a joke about it. They were deadly serious about it because they had basically said at that point, people have died.
Dr. Nolan revealed that CIA agents approached him to help analyze individuals who had allegedly made contact with UFOs. According to him, the agents showed him images of people who had died or were bedridden following their encounters. Some had parts of their brains internally fried and suffered from radiation burns on their skin. Dr. Nolan met these people and asked them a few questions. Many reported seeing glowing objects or unknown crafts. They all experienced adverse effects because they got too close to these objects. Interestingly, all these individuals were military personnel on duty. Does this mean that the military has had contact with UFOs but can't get close due to the dangers involved? This incident occurred back in 2011. I wonder what progress or future contact has been made over the past decade. What do you think? Could the military be continuing its efforts to understand these mysterious encounters, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Share your thoughts.
What was the story there?
That was the so-called Rendlesham Forest case in England, where objects were seen over the bunkers where the nuclear weapons were stored.
Have you ever seen someone sleepwalk before? If you haven't, have you ever wondered what they look like when they do? Well, today's your lucky day. Enjoy. Yes, he's actually sleepwalking, and no, he's not awake. He's not really aware of his surroundings because he's in a sleep state. Sleepwalking, or somnambulism, is a sleep disorder characterized by engaging in complex behaviors while in a deep sleep state, typically during the non-rapid eye movement stages, particularly third stage known as slow-wave sleep. During a sleepwalking episode, individuals can perform activities ranging from sitting up in bed to walking around and, in more extreme cases, driving or engaging in other complex tasks. Yes, they could drive in this state. When Julius pointed this out to me, I was skeptical and did the research, and it's actually true. Sleepwalkers often have their eyes open with a glared, unfocused expression, but they're typically not aware of their actions and usually don't remember the episode upon waking. This condition is more common in children and tends to decrease in frequency with age, although it can persist into adulthood for some. We still don't know what the cause is, but it's believed to be linked to a combination of genetic, environmental, and physiological factors. Stress, sleep deprivation, certain medications, and disruptions in the regular sleep schedule can trigger or exacerbate episodes. If you know a sleepwalker, be kind to them and say a prayer for them. I can't imagine how stressful the whole thing can be for them, despite this particular one looking funny. Are there any sleepwalkers here? Care to share some of your wildest experiences? Here we have another wonder that was captured in the night sky of Panama City. If you watch carefully, there appears to be a peculiar glow emanating from behind the clouds. Many who saw it had the impression that it could be originating from some sort of unidentified flying craft. While sightings of UFOs or unidentified flying objects are not a new phenomenon, they still manage to grab our attention and leave us in awe. With the footage available, it's hard to determine what exactly this could be. This one, for instance, has the paranormal community divided. Some are convinced it is truly a UAP, while others are seeing nothing more than a video manipulation meant to mislead. Now I'd like to hear your thoughts too. What do you think about this sighting? What do you do when you come across coins that have never been officially made and circulated by any government in the world, especially when it looks alien and seems like it could have come from an alternate reality? Well, everyone knows you record and put it on the internet. Of course, that's exactly what the one who uploaded this online did, and it created one of the most heated debates we've ever had in a long time on one of our paranormal pages. Some argued that it could have been carved by someone for the purposes of mischief, while others argued it could have been alien. Others also thought it might have found its way into our world from an alternate reality through a rift in space and time. Yes, I know, it sounds ridiculous, but it's not impossible. Upon further research, we discovered that the coin in question bears a striking resemblance to a hobo nickel, a sculptural art form involved in creating modification of small denomination coins, resulting in miniature bas-reliefs. The United States nickel coin was favored because of its size, thickness, and softness, making it an ideal canvas for artistic expression. While the term hobo nickel is generic, carvings have been made from many denominations, and it's possible that this coin is an example of this art form. However, the unusual design and features of the coin still leave many questions unanswered, fueling the debate and speculation about its origin.
Look, there I am right there. Look, you see that? You see that?
The young man was working a shift at a supermarket when strange things started to happen. First, a box dropped to the ground without being interacted with. When that happened, he went on a witch hunt to see if he could find the person or entity responsible. He couldn't explain it, but there was this ominous feeling that had overtaken him. It made him lash out and cuss at whatever it was to come out. No matter what he did, the spirit or being would not show up, but it didn't make its presence known until it pulled his hair. No one told him to run. He had to consult the security cameras to make sure he was not imagining the whole thing, and surely enough, he was not. It actually happened. He uploaded it online seeking answers. While the paranormal community was very interested in finding out what it was, they all kept telling him that you don't cuss out paranormal beings or things you don't understand. They apparently don't like that. Anyway, what do you guys think of this?
Look, there I am right there. Look, you see that? You see that?
This man was out riding his ATV through some shallow water when he suddenly noticed something moving ahead of him. At first, he didn't think much of it, but as he got closer, he stopped in his tracks. Now, let's take a look at what he saw. There, crossing the water, was a tall figure covered in brown fur. It moved with long strides, seemingly unbothered by the water. Even the person filming had seen it and was asking the guy what it was. That definitely looks like a Bigfoot right there. But what do you think? Could this really be proof of the legendary creature or just another case of mistaken identity?
What was that?
A man was walking home late at night when he started hearing strange snapping sounds coming from the trees around him. So he pulled out his phone and flashlight to record the source of the noises. What he captured is both shocking and baffling. In the footage, a massive creature can be seen moving through the woods. It's walking on two legs. The man believes what he saw could be a Bigfoot. What's your take on this figure in the woods? This footage is truly bizarre. Shared online as a candid capture of a cloudburst, it appears to come from a security camera overlooking a property. At first glance, it seems to document a sudden, intense downpour, a thick cascade of rain that descends with remarkable force. In the chaos, water rushes through, pushing a black car forward while another black car drives off in the background. But here's where it gets eerie. If you look closely, the sequence doesn't add up. At the far end, there's a black car, followed by a white and yellow one. However, as the water falls, the yellow car inexplicably vanishes. Then, almost as if by magic, a black car eerily similar to the one driving away earlier is suddenly washed to the front. Some say it's an unintentional glitch in the footage, others suspect it's been doctored using AI or editing software to create the illusion. What do you think? A man was filming while he and his toddler entered an elevator. As soon as they stepped inside, his toddler said, "The boy is in here." At first, the father thought it was just his son's imagination. You know how kids can be. But then, as the little boy leaned against the elevator wall, a handprint appeared behind him. The father caught everything on camera and even asked his son to turn and look, but the print vanished almost instantaneously. After rewatching the footage, the man became convinced that his son might have seen a ghost or something supernatural, and the handprint belonged to whatever it was. What do you think?
Bro, right above you. What is that? On the wall. No, do you see that? What?
Having Wi-Fi at home is so convenient, but do you know it can be used to map your home and construct a real-time 3D pose estimation? Surprisingly, Wi-Fi signals can be used for 3D pose estimation by analyzing how signals bounce off and interact with objects and human bodies in a given environment. Instead of relying on cameras, Wi-Fi-based pose estimation uses radio frequency signals to detect movement and reconstruct a subject's posture in real time. This method is particularly useful in low-light conditions, privacy-sensitive areas, or places where cameras are impractical. So basically anyone can hack into your Wi-Fi system and use your signals from the system to map out your entire home and plan an attack if they wanted to. Technology is great, but it's parts like these that scare me.
Is they had a camera looking at a space with people in it,
That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, like, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time 3D pose estimation, right?
Do birds turn on like bulbs? The obvious answer is no, right? So how do you explain this? In the clip, we see the bottom part of a bird light up and turn off a few times. Many individuals who saw this think it's not real, whereas others think it's a sign they needed to confirm that not all our birds in the sky are biological. They assume this is a cyborg, which sounds a bit ridiculous, but if you had been there, you'd know not to call such things ridiculous. Either way, the paranormal community is divided about this and could use your opinion. What do you think is going on here? What does this look like to you? Confused, are we? Well, once this clip was uploaded, there were some who thought it looked like spirits entering into our realm. Personally, I can see where they're coming from because it has this portal look and feel to it, but it turns out that's not the case. It turns out it's an intercontinental ballistic missile with multiple re-entry warheads that Russia launched on a Ukrainian city. After a little research, I discovered that it may be technology that only Russia has, which means the West predominantly. The US doesn't really have this, and many in the comment section are shaken by this. Not sure which interpretation is scarier, that these are spirits entering our realm, or that this is firepower one nation possesses and can simply launch anywhere whenever they feel like it. These teenagers made a bold decision to open a room in their house that had been sealed and shut off for 6 years. Out of curiosity, they grabbed a sage bundle, lit it, and stepped inside. At first, it just looked like an old abandoned room. Inside, there was a desk, a monitor, a baby cot, and some random objects, nothing too unusual. But then, something shifted. A few of them started feeling lightheaded as soon as they stood in the room, and then the boy holding the sage began speaking out loud, saying, "You are not welcome here." Moments later, he winced in pain and said his back was burning. The group quickly checked, and there were fresh scratch marks across his lower back. The kids all freaked out and left the room in shock. I guess the room was closed for a reason. Whatever was in that room clearly did not appreciate being disturbed.
I just got so lightheaded. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I got lightheaded as soon as I walked in here.
Yeah.
You are not welcome here.
Oh, my head's itching. I
If
think
there's
there's
any
lice
spirits
in here.
leave. You are not welcome.
Between in the closet, dude.
Oh, my back's burning.
Is it really?
Bitch, my back's
burning. I don't know.
Oh my god.
No, you're kidding.
Stop.
No, get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Marks up your back.
Stop.
No, you do.
Stop. You're giving me anxiety.
Oh my god.
You're kidding, right? You're
No.
kidding. Look.
This video was taken a while ago. It shows various clips of people being caught coming out of tunnels in the US. These tunnels are said to be part of a network that connects throughout the city, and oddly enough, the men caught were all Jewish. Now, could that be a coincidence? Well, I don't think so. We've heard of tunnels all over the world, ranging from secret operations to underground communities. Some are dismissing this as paranoia, but then, why are these men using the tunnels, and what purpose do these underground networks serve? Is there more to this story, or is it being blown out of all proportion? Well, I did some digging around and discovered that there was an issue with synagogues in Brooklyn early last year that resulted in these tunnels being dug out. I think the issue has been resolved now, but then again, what if that's just a cover for something bigger? It may just be the paranoia talking, but let's hear your thoughts. These three people were having fun at the pool, 2 men and a woman. The woman was in the middle of the 2 men. They decided to take a video together, so the trio went under the water while filming and then came back up laughing. They didn't think much of the footage at first and shared it, but later one of them noticed something chilling. There was someone else in the footage, someone they hadn't seen or met at the pool. And here's where it gets really weird. The pool was not public. This was their own private home pool, yet in the video, you can clearly see a figure behind the woman in the middle. It looks like another woman, but her long, wet black hair is covering her face entirely. This unknown figure went into the water with them, rose back up with them, and then vanished just like that. The trio was completely freaked out by what they saw. They had no idea and were certain no one else was there. So what do you think? Was this just some creepy illusion, or could this be a ghostly presence? A man was out one night filming from his car when he captured something eerie behind him. In the footage, a line of small human-like creatures can be seen walking single file into the darkness near someone's house. These creatures are believed to be duendes, mythical beings known in many cultures as mischievous spirits or little people. Even a single duende can cause chaos. Imagine the mayhem a group of them might bring. What are your thoughts? Are these truly duendes?
Vea. Te está espiando, Vea.
Moving on from these conspiracies, let's look at this clip uploaded by a man known as Xavier, who was staying in a hotel with his family.
Se va a suicidar.
It was supposed to be a beautiful night, but the session was interrupted by this scene.
Esto es porque te ha visto guapa y quiere ligar contigo.
While preparing to join her husband, the wife noticed that there was someone standing on the roof close to them. Obviously shaken, she mentions to her husband, who asks her to turn off the lights so they can see the man better. She does so, and they keep watching. At first, she feared he was someone out to commit suicide, but that's not what happens. The man stands for a while and then leaves. They uploaded it online, asking for people's opinion on what happened. Some said that the man came up there to get away from his nagging wife, whereas others felt he wanted to harm himself but changed his mind. The paranormal community, however, feels differently. They feel there is something ominous driving the man. Looking at the clip and how chill the man was, I can't blame them for thinking so, but you also saw the clip, so what do you think was happening here?
No. Déjalo.
¿Pero qué fas?
Pero que dejen de abrir. No.
¿Qué coño de diario qué?
Que no está fumando ni nada, se va a suicidar, ¿eh?
Se va a suicidar.
Did you know that your lights might actually be messing with you? Take a look at this. Fluorescent lights in classrooms have been linked to kids being diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. These lights are at a frequency that makes it hard to focus, leading to attention issues and restlessness in students. But a doctor experimented by placing LED sheets over the fluorescent lights, and guess what? The kids could focus better. Their ability to study improved almost instantly. Sounds like a simple fix, right? Well, not so fast. Even LED lights have their downsides. Some people report that they cause headaches and eye strain over time. It's crazy how one solution can create a whole new problem. But you gotta wonder. We already spoke about Wi-Fi signals and the danger associated with them, then mobile phones, and now light. Is there any human creation that's not negatively affecting us or slowly killing us?
And they are being impacted by the fluorescent bulbs, which are in the school, and then they are diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. LEDs are even worse than fluorescent because of the radio frequencies and their streetlights.
A man was out exploring when he came across something extraordinary, a tomb containing what appeared to be mummies. The tomb seemed to be constructed of sand or stone, and as he dug through the site, this was what he discovered. Inside, there was a mummified figure completely shrouded in white cloth seated on a chair. Between its legs lay a sword embedded in the ground. Beside the seated mummy stood another upright mummy standing as if guarding the area. The man removed the sword to examine it more closely, but it's unclear where this site is located or the significance of what he unearthed. While this discovery is undeniably fascinating, many would argue that ancient sites and artifacts should not be disturbed. They could carry historical, cultural, or even spiritual significance. Exploring such finds should ideally involve archaeologists and experts to ensure that the site is treated with respect and care. Don't you think? Back in 1897, some engines could recharge themselves using static fields. No need for fuel or combustion, just pure energy pulled straight from the environment, powering entire systems. Imagine that, a self-sustaining machine over a century ago. Yet today, those technologies are nowhere to be found. Instead, we're taught a very different version of science in our schools that revolves around gas, oil, and the constant consumption of fossil fuels as the backbone of power. So what happened? Were these self-charging inventions forgotten, or were they suppressed? Maybe because they threatened the profit of certain industries. It's not a wild theory when you think about how much money is made from keeping the world hooked on fuel. So we were robbed of free, limitless energy so that corporations could cash in. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Please share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.